Good evening, everybody. My name is Pastor Miloš, and I'm the youth pastor in the Arvada Adventist Church. This TV program that you're watching tonight is brought to you by our ministry. We are located in Arvada, Colorado, so it's Denver metro area. If you're close by, if you're around, feel free to come and visit us. We have worship services on Saturdays, not Sundays, but Saturdays, 11 a.m., and the worship services are meant to reach everybody. So adults, teenagers, children, English-speaking, Spanish-speaking, Indonesian-speaking, you're more than welcome to come and bring your worship to our church, and we can worship God together. If you would like to hear more of our messages that Pastor Gordon and me are recording, you can go to our YouTube channel, AA Church CO, and over there you can find a number of spiritual messages and sermons that will hopefully help you find God and create that spiritual connection that all of us need. Also, we have our radio program on KLTT 670 AM that is called Fit Positive Confident, and that program is also meant to be a coach for your physical, mental, and spiritual life to help you figure out the best way to God, sticking with Him, and then having a good life overall, all together. If you would like to talk to us, if you need a prayer, if you need an advice, feel free to give us a call at number that is on the screen, and we can pray for you, we can talk to you, but most of all what we would like to offer, that is 2 books. One book is called Creation Health Discovery, a very, very simple and interesting way how to reach inside of ourselves and get the most out of our body, out of our mind, and out of our spirit. Pretty much achieving best life possible with some very simple and easy advices that we apply every day, and those advices will drive us to become better. Also, another thing that still a lot of people are struggling with is How to Stop Smoking for Life magazine. We think that we live in a world where people are perfectly aware of the fact that smoking is bad. But then there is still a lot of people who find comfort in it. There are many different ways to find comfort in life. And this is definitely one of the habits that is killing our nation, our society, people around us. So if you know somebody who is struggling with smoking, if you're the one or if you have somebody you care for and love, give us a call at the number that is on the screen, and we will give you this book or this magazine or both, if you need both, free of charge. There is no catch or anything like that. This is our ministry. We're trying to make this world a better place. And this is the way that we see it fitting to do it. So we're not going to ask you for a credit card. We're not going to ask you to donate money. If you want to, you're more than welcome to, but that is not what we are aiming to achieve. We want to help you help others, and let's make this world a better place together. Tonight, I would like us to talk about something that will pretty much touch every single one of us, because I'm pretty sure that every single one of us, at least once in a lifetime, was confronted with this question. I remember seeing a bumper sticker. It was funny. It says, "Be unique, just like everybody else." And it's funny when we think about it, how this society is telling us that you should be whatever you are. You can be whatever you want to be. And but no, not that way. This is the way you should do it. You know, we are always told that we should be ourselves, and then we are being told how are we supposed to be ourselves. The society we live in is designed with a certain purpose, with several different purposes, and one of them is to condition us to fit in and to be law-abiding citizens, which is, there is nothing wrong with that. That is perfectly fine. But we are also told that we have to live a life in a certain way to be accepted, even when sometimes those ways don't really fit in with what we are and who we are. A lot of people don't really know who they are. There is a lot of situations in life where people are people fail to understand their basics. People fail to understand what will really fulfill their purpose. And there is that gap in our lives when we're trying to reach that. And the main reason why is this so important is this. When you understand something, then you're able to work with it. You're able to get the most out of it. You're able to take control of it. And the example is very simple. For example, teenager driving a car. They need to have supervision because they still don't understand the nuts and bolts. They understand the basics: gas, brake, shift into drive, shift into reverse, park, and that's it. But when they start driving, they need to get the feel of it. They really need to understand how this works. When they do, it's excellent because then they can get the most out of that car. Ideal person to teach them to drive would be a senior citizen. People who've been driving for half a century even. We have a couple of members here in our church who are in their 90s and they are still driving because they know how cars work. And they are perfectly fine and comfortable with it because they understand the essence of it. On the other hand, teenagers can help a lot senior citizens with something else. Using their smartphones. I hear this many times from the parents. If you don't know how your phone works, just give it to your child. It's going to figure it out in 5 minutes. And if you really want to get the most out of your phone, let your grandchild or your child tell you how to do it. It's absolutely the same with us. It's absolutely the same with our life. Why am I saying that? Just think about it. When we really understand what is inside of our soul, of our mind, of our bodies, when we really have the essence of it figured out and we know the nuts and bolts, we can get the most out of life. We can achieve so much more that we are achieving right now. And we can find the peace in our purpose. One of the things that many people do, and that's why we offer this magazine, is people turn to smoking, to drinking, to drugs, because they're trying to find that peace. They're trying to find the joy. They're trying to find a relief from the pain of life. And all of that stuff is done because people fail to understand how their mind works, how their body works, how their spirit works. When they understand that, that is the moment when they are actually ready to live a very successful life without the crutches of cigarettes or booze or any of that kind of stuff. So let's open the Bible. Let's look in the Bible and see what does the Bible have to say about us finding yourself. I would like us to read Psalm 27. Psalm 27 is written by David, and as you know, you may not, but some of you may do. The book of Psalms is actually poetry. That is one huge poetry book. And Psalms were used in the traditional Jewish society as songs. People would sing them. And they would actually be pretty much the same thing. When you go to church and you listen to praise music, that's what Psalms were for the Jews of the Old Testament, and that's what they are for many of them today also. So David is actually writing a song. But here is the difference. This song is very unique. Not unique in the Jewish literature, but unique for our Western minds. Because we think very linear. Our minds function on this is the beginning, this is the middle, and then this is the end. Jewish mind works a little bit different. When something is important, when something is the crucial message of whatever is written, that is put in the middle. And then you can read it from the front, from the beginning, or you can start reading it from the end. You will get the same message. Pretty much, this psalm is written in a way where both beginning and the end, when read, are bringing us to one major point. And the ways to recognize that is when you match. You match the beginning and then you match the end. You match the next segment and the next segment, and you will see that those segments talk about the same issues or same topics that are leading to a big crescendo that is hidden in the middle. It's amazing. It's really amazing how psalmists would make you read the whole psalm several times, and then when you see the message in the beginning, like, wow, this is amazing. That's what we are going to do tonight. So Psalm 27 is split into several different self-revealing points. I would like to call them that way, because today we are talking about understanding ourselves. And the first one that David talks about, and when read in the beginning and the end, we can see that he talks about me in the bad times in life. We can't deny the fact that bad times happen, just as the good times happen. It's just a matter of our perception. How are we going to deal with that? So David says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When evildoers assail me to eat my flesh, my adversaries and foes, if it is they who stumble and fall. Though an army encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war rise against me, yet I will be confident." And then he wraps it up. The end of the psalm says, "Wait for the Lord, be strong, and let your heart take courage." Wait for the Lord. David is talking about one very important aspect of life. When we run into bad situations, what happens is that we want to deal with things. We want to retaliate. We want to protect ourselves. And we are ready to fight or flight, depending on what the situation is. One thing that life of a Christian is different in is that we have God. And David talks about that. He says that he is not afraid in those bad times. And the reason he is not afraid is because his God is very tangible to him. David recognizes himself not as being alone in this world, not as being one and only dealing with the issues that he has to deal with. He identifies source of his peace in the tough times in God. And he says, wait for God. Our life in this planet, in this world that we live in, is very tangible to a certain extent. When we come to the point where we can't touch or hear or see or feel things, things become very abstract. But Bible tells us that God can be very tangible in our lives. It all depends upon us if we are going to identify with that tangibility in the same way as we identify the tangibility of this world. If we move on, we see that David keeps talking. Now he goes back from the bad times to good times. And it's really interesting how he portrays that. "One thing have I asked of the Lord, that I will seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord, to inquire in his temple." And then at the end of the psalm, he says the same thing. "I believe that I shall look upon the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living." Good times in life are always marked with joy, with celebration. And hey, if you won the lottery, what would be the first thing you did? Took a vacation, probably. But one thing that identifies a true Christian, that finds a true peace, is that when the good times roll, I am not going to be the one rolling alone. I will be the one who is going to put God in center of my life even then. And this is the thing. We want God to be with us in the bad times. And yet when the good times come, it's so easy to push God on the side, to forget about Him completely because the things are good. And then the bad times kick in again, and we have to deal with the bad times again. And then we look up and wonder, where is God? But this is very important. Me in bad times has to be the same me in good times. If I identify myself as belonging to God in bad times, I have to do the same thing in good times. And trust me, and I believe that you know that very well, it's much harder for us to find the time for God when everything is going good. Because life is just good, let's just live it. Those are the moments that make us capable, those moments of good times that we spend with God. And David even says that he wants to spend it in the house of God. He wants to come to church and be there pretty much every single day. Those are the moments that prepare us when the bad times come. If we move on and keep on reading, we see that David goes back now and he talks about the obstacles of life again. Many times in his songs, we will see that he sees life as generally pain. And honestly, that is true. It's just a matter of how we are dealing with the pain that makes this life easier or harder to live. But the matter of fact is, he talks in the next segment, he talks about asking God to be there with him when evil and bad people attack him. There is always that bouncing back and forth between the good times and the bad times. During the bad times, we're looking back and remembering the good times, and then looking forward to the good times again. And then when the good times come, that is the time of the preparation, so we can deal with the bad times better. Do you identify yourself as the one who is standing alone, or you're standing with God? Make sure to understand that this psalm here is making a huge point. And the point is, God has to be in the center place of our lives, every single moment of our lives. And then we can see that very easily in the center of Psalm 27. David says, "You have said, seek my face. My heart says to you, your face, Lord, do I seek." Let me read that again. You have said, seek my face. My heart says to you, your face, Lord, do I seek. Seeking God's face. Couldn't be more tangible than that. It really couldn't be. Because this is a metaphor of something very, very important. The center message of David identifying himself and trying to figure out who he is ends in seeking God's face. Before we continue, let me ask you one more time to feel free to call the number on the screen and to ask for a free book or free Stop Smoking magazine that we are offering. And we will send it to you free of charge, really free of charge. Just get us the information and you're going to get it. And also, if you need a prayer, especially a prayer about finding yourself and figuring out your spiritual purpose, we will pray with you and for you, and we'll talk to you. So give us the number on the number that is on the screen, and let's talk, let's pray together. Let me ask you something. When a baby is born, what is the first thing that baby is going to see and observe that day? It's going to be the face of its mother. When God created Adam, Bible describes God creating Adam, putting the mud together, shaping him up, and then breathing into him the breath of life. I imagine Adam opening his eyes. The first thing that he saw was the face of God, the face of his Father, the face of the Creator. When we go all the way to the end of the Bible and read the Revelation, we see that the very last thing that Bible describes that we are going to see before the history of this world ends is the face of God coming back to save the ones who belong to Him. On the other hand, Revelation also says that the ones who chose not to be on God's side are going to scream and cry, "Oh, mountains and rocks, fall upon us and hide us from the face of the one who is coming." The face of somebody in the Bible is a very important concept. Recognizing and seeing God's face is very, very intimate and important thing for us as created beings. Why? Why is it so created? Why is it so important? I remember some 25 years ago or so, looking in the mirror. My beard barely started kind of to pop up here and there, and I wanted to be a man. You know how kids, when they get to that teenage age, want to do. And I was looking in the mirror if I should shave or not. And I realized one really strange thing. Like, wow, this is face of my dad. Look at that. And it was a really strange feeling seeing my dad's face in that mirror. Working with young people and teenagers brought me to see that many teenagers have tough struggles if they're adopted or if they didn't grow up with their parents. They kind of want to go back and find out who their parents are. Usually, at least once in a lifetime, they will go on that quest, trying to figure out who they are. Because that's where our story begins, in the genetic pool of our parents. Our story begins in God's face. To really understand who we are, what is inside and how everything works, we need to be able to see and recognize His face. It's crucial for our survival. It's crucial for whatever we want to achieve in life, because that is where everything starts and that is where everything is going to end. The story written in Genesis chapter 32, we're not going to read through the story. I hope you know the story. The story depicts Jacob, where his identity was changed after a certain moment. So, just to quickly recapture the story. Jacob, as a young man, he deceived his father, he deceived his brother. He had to run away because his brother wanted to kill him. He escaped, he never saw his family again. And now, in his later age in life, he acquired a lot of wealth, he has a big family. He is ready to go back and face his demons. He knows most of all that he deceived God, because God made a promise to him. And when promise was not fulfilling, he decided to help God. And then he screwed everything up, pretty much. Now he's on his walk of shame back to his brother with everything he has. And he has no idea if his brother is going to just charge and kill everybody, or what is he going to do. He is completely at mercy of God and his brother, and he is deeply struggling. Jacob's name means the one who is grabbing the heel, because that's the way he was born. Right after his brother, he was born while grabbing his brother's heel. But also his name could be interpreted as a cheater, a deceiver. Now, he is on the border of his brother's land. And he sends everything he has, all of his family and wealth away, and he is over there by himself. and the night comes. And somebody charges at him and attacks him. Or at least that's how he felt. Because the Bible says that he started wrestling somebody for the whole night. He wouldn't let go. Jacob wouldn't let go of this wrestle. When the dawn came, the person told him, "It's dawn, let me go, I have to go." But Jacob just wouldn't let go. He says, "I can't let you go until you bless me." And then the angel, apparently the story says it was an angel, told him, "From now on, your name is not going to be Jacob, a deceiver. Your name is going to be Israel, which means a victor, winner, because you wrestled men and God, and you prevailed." Jacob's identity changed when he wrestled to really receive the blessing of God. How hard are you trying to get the blessing of God? How hard are you trying to really find the time to seek the face of God, to understand Him, to hear Him? We live in a busy world that is ever busier, and that's not going to change. It's going to just get worse. And we will have less and less time for anything in this life. But the things that are important, we have to find time for. I encourage you tonight, my friends, find the time in your daily life to seek the face of God. Open your Bibles, read them. Turn your TVs off, your cell phones, your computers, everything, and then pray and ask God to walk into your life and help you find yourself. Call the number on the screen for a free book or a magazine. Call the number on the screen for a prayer, to talk to us. We would be more than happy to take the time to pray for you, to help you find God, to help you find yourself. That's why we are here. Don't forget to take the time to open your Bibles every single day. Don't forget to pray every single day. Seek the face of God, and God will find you. May you have a blessed night.